What if it's not about a building? What if it's not about stained glass or steeples? What if it's about just Jesus?
I know it's going to be a good one when we start talking about what we're talking about, Savannah, and you go,
That's tough.
Okay.
if we have to.
This is a struggle for me. I'm going to be really honest. So I'm really excited to dive into this because I need to be able to handle this better.
Right. Well, we talked about revenge last week, and now we're talking about love for enemies. It's got to be hard.
Yep.
Jesus said in one spot, he said, "What is the reward in loving those who love you back?"
Oh, that's a good one. I never thought about that.
That's true. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, show kindness. We shouldn't, dislike people or do this or that. I can preach it all day long.
Come on, preach.
When it really comes to it, I
Step
feel like
off that cross for a minute.
there is truly nothing like a woman scorned. And, we can hold revenge and just enemies, we've got them.
Did you just say a woman scorned? What are we talking about here?
It felt appropriate. It doesn't have to be a man that's,
feel
burned
fire
those bridges.
I feel like we really did some backstabbing or something happened.
Some grudges or hell.
You start to reflect when you're talking about, loving thine enemies.
Oh, that's great. I never would have thought of being scorned.
That's KJV version, huh?
I feel like we've all got a nemesis, or who we perceive to be our nemesis.
You're right. Same thing as before. Can you forgive your enemies and can you seek revenge? And it's not always worth it, but man, we all do it.
Thou hast been scorned. You just spoke for probably a lot of women.
Amen. Yes, I did. And we feel it deep.
Yeah.
When you have been wronged and you perceive someone, once you've been wronged, you are my enemy.
Yeah. And man, I might be stepping on it here, but there's some women that just hate men. Like they've been scorned by a man and like just walking in being a man, they're like, oh, wow, she hates me. I've not done anything to her.
No, you were hated by association.
Yeah, exactly.
I see that a lot in a lot of relationships. I think I've said this, like is it mostly the woman that seems like a lot of times to me, I don't know, but maybe it is both ways, but a lot of times you'll see a more free-spirited man, and then the woman, probably because of the man, even especially talking about in a relationship where maybe something has happened over and over and over and over, but they're still together.
Yeah, I think that women, speaking as a woman, I feel like men can have those same types of anger type reactions, but I feel like they can maybe contain them a little better than women can. I feel like maybe women were maybe just a little more dramatic about it.
Well, men are different because we grew up, if we had a problem, we go fight.
Right.
We go outside, we confront each other, we take care of it. Then after we fight, we're both so tired and beat up, we give each other hugs. Like, all right, let's go. We're friends.
Yeah.
Women don't work that way.
I can't imagine you giving somebody a hug, though, after.
When you're tired, it's almost like a prop, You just
you don't really hug even if you're not in a fight.
What did I tell you one time? Grown men just shake hands,
Yeah. I've tried to give him a hug a few times. He gives me the forearm. Hey, man, what's going on? Push me.
I feel like men do maybe forgive and forget easier.
Yes.
And women, we can hold on to something. I will remember something that you say to me.
It's like so difficult sometimes. Women are like this background here. It's like a waffle of compartments. And it's just like you do something and it could have been 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And somehow it ain't going to be forgotten.
Oh, no, it all comes back around.
And then it runs over into another compartment where something else was wrong. And it's like, oh, and this too. Oh, and this too. Oh, and then it just keeps heaping up. It's
That
like
syrup is filling those compartments, and you're just stepping in the sticky stuff if you keep talking because
Yes.
it's going to get bad.
And it's funny because if I ever get to where I'm winning an
Sinking
argument,
sand.
yeah, if I'm winning an argument, we leave that compartment. We go back to one that I've lost. Let's talk about that one.
you can't get out.
No,
Oh, that's funny.
You've got to just almost accept it.
What's
We're not
the-
going to let it go.
What's the resolve? How does a woman get out of that? How does she get back on her feet?
We don't.
Oh,
You love us like we are.
All right. So Matthew 5:43 in the red letters, Jesus in his own red letters said, "You have heard
Forget
the law."
nailing it to the cross.
Hey, I'm telling you, let's just move on. I know that's how I've stayed married for almost 20 years.
Run.
Yes. And if you haven't learned that yet, Cory, we got some work to do for Julie.
Matthew 5:43, teaching about love for enemies. This is in red letters. This is Jesus speaking. You have heard the law that says, love your neighbor
Mhm.
and hate your enemy. But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. Man, that alone is just stopping there for a moment. That's its own element.
Is that part of the whole keep your enemies close?
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's meaning a different meaning. But
Yeah, I think that's more of like an evil, like conniving plan, like
Yeah.
conspiring to kind of
Yeah.
keep the friends
Okay.
close, but the enemies closer.
Okay.
Because they're an enemy.
Right.
You
So
gotta-
I've got to go
you
for
gotta-
the love.
Yeah,
Really love.
definitely.
Yeah. That said, but I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. And that's deep right there.
That's when Jesus, everybody screams, Jesus, love, love, love. All he talks about is love. And he does, but man, that really takes it over. Like for a lot of people, I think that really takes it over the limit. It's like he said, what's the reward? If they love you, if somebody loves you, how hard is it to love them? Somebody
Oh, it's easy.
opens arms and just y'all just connect. You know those people in your life that you just connect with. You just go together and it's so easy.
Like peas and carrots.
Yeah. Peanut butter and jelly.
I think it really puts it into perspective. No matter how close you think you are or your walk with God is, there's always room for improvement. You can always do more and strive to be better. And that's definitely something I need to work on clearly.
No.
Even if you are a scorned woman.
Non-scorn is fair.
This one really went deep for me today.
Oh, like
If it's your first time listening, that's my sister. I can say that, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll let that one slide.
All right. So Matthew 5:45 is still in the red letters. In that way, you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives his sunlight to both evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike. Now, break that down for us, Cory.
He's saying there's no first of all, God so loved the world. It's not just about people that don't love God back. That's the ultimate standard. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. He gave his son, Jesus, his son, gave his life, not for just people that believed, not for just people that's going to jump around the church house and run down the streets and tell everybody on every corner about the good news.
Mm-hmm.
It's for everybody. It's for anybody at any moment, a blasphemer, any moment, an atheist. That same love is for you too. You get that rain. You get that sun just
Mhm.
the same if you're an unbeliever or you're a believer. And God has said many times, he is no respecter of persons. Even we want to draw to the ones that truly love us and accept us and want us around and don't just tolerate us, But it's more than that. We want like the healthy and wealthy. We want the nice dressed. We want the one with deep pockets, and it should be anybody.
Mhm.
We should be loving from the homeless man or woman on the side of the road that stink and don't know nothing about God. We should be saying, hey, let us help. Let us show you love. Like, it's a difficult thing to break those down. But as a Christian, as a Christ follower, you don't just love people. You love your enemies. That is how you know you're like Christ. People that are down talking you and, running you under the bus, if you will. Pray for those people. People that do not like you at all, want nothing to do with you, don't want to hear you, don't want to. But I will say this, a lot of that can be jealousy. A lot of that can be insecurities from people, I think there's people like that with you at the gym, Stephen, where you blow everybody away on
I don't know
those
about that.
workouts.
But
I
then
know one guy tries to get up on you on reps many times.
that's not just the gym, though, man. That's life. Like
It
you
is.
said, that's a direct correlation of life. We're always going to have people competing with us in ways and for reasons we don't understand and hold
Yeah.
it against us.
And most people that are trying to keep up with you, or even if it's you trying to keep up with them, that ain't the right reason. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be you. You should be who you are.
Instead of keeping up with the Joneses,
Yeah.
as they say.
That's right. And here's what you were talking about, Cory. Matthew 5:46. If you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even pagans do that. But you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect.
Man. And the blood makes that possible. Many people think, well, that's not even real. That can't happen. I'm not perfect. You are perfect. You're perfect in the eyes of God, and many people miss this, and it's misconstrued and misunderstood. When the blood of Jesus is applied to your life, you in the eye of God, you are perfect. You are perfect by his ultimate sacrifice. And
That's so nice to hear,
yeah.
because I think sometimes we forget that part.
Yeah, God said, I will beautify you with eternal life. And that tax collector, yes, he's got family. He's got friends. He's got people, even though most people absolutely despise to see him coming because of what his job calls for and what it's asking of me to give up to him. And you don't like to see that person coming, but that tax collector, he has friends, he has loved ones that love him, and in return, he loves them. Every person can love the people in their lives that love them. But try loving somebody that that just tolerate you. Try loving people that don't want to have anything to do with you. That when you cross paths with, instead of running the other way when you see them in the grocery store, instead of doing everything you can to not acknowledge them when you know they're there, speak.
That one cut deep. We've all done that. Turn to the rack and, you're
I can honestly say that I've never done that.
Oh, wow.
You can ask my wife. I'm the dead opposite of that. I'll go out of my way to go say hey to somebody.
The only time I've ever done that is if I'm at the store and I'm just looking like a Fraggle, and it's one of those people that you want to look good when you see. So I'm like, ooh, skirt.
Hand up. Can I say something? I think Steven just does that for spite, and that makes it wrong too.
We were at Walmart today. Now I've done it for spite, but we were at Walmart today, and we passed 2 aisles back, and I'm like, wait a minute, that woman looked familiar.
Yeah.
Sure enough, I went back, And I did recognize her from a sport that our kids play, and I yelled at her. I was like, "Hey, how are you doing? It's good seeing you." Like, I went out of my way to go back to say hey. So
Yeah.
that's my norm all the time.
Yeah, but
I would
here's
say
the
that 1,000%. You are one of
You-
the friendliest people.
you are, and it's not just because you're friendly. It's because you don't have nothing to hide. You don't have insecurities that would
I don't know about
mostly.
that.
Well, most of the time, people don't want to see or interact with those people they know don't like them because they lack at their own insecurities.
Mhm.
I don't want you throwing your darts at me. I know as soon as I come into your presence, you don't like me. You're going to judge me. I don't want to feel all that pressure. No, that's not Jesus. Jesus is so confident. Jesus is so full of goodness and grace and purity that nothing can penetrate that.
Well, and I think you're right, Sven. A lot of people, you always say when I'm fixed up, I don't see anybody. But when I'm in my PJs at Walmart, I see everybody,
Yeah.
You do. Well, and it's hard. There's a fine line there, Cory, what you're talking about to, speak to your enemies and be around those people, doing it in a way of kindness and a way that's spiteful.
Exactly.
That's a hard line there to walk.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Now, I've seen people in the store that I know didn't want to talk to me. And I
you
go
went,
out of my way to yell at them. Hey, you all right? It's good to see you, man. Surely we've all done that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll bet you that there's a very small number of people that will do that and have that about them to do that, which I think that's awesome about you. And I was joking a minute ago. No, I'm not. I'm not joking because I know you do that. I know you're like, get over it. You don't want to see me coming. I don't care. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to make sure that hey, I'm here. Good to see you.
Kill them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness. What a phrase too. Kill them with kindness. The most insecure, the most hateful, the most grudge holding, the most scorneth thou thine people. The people like that though, they don't want to see you coming. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you prosper. And most of the time, the people that don't want to go on your page, don't want to go on your media and like stuff or share stuff, but they watch you.
Mm-hmm.
That's like TikTok. You see who viewed your profile multiple times,
And do they not know it?
I don't know, but
I think
those are
they
the
don't
same
know.
people that never like your videos or never like your stuff. They just view it.
Well, they have it now on the other social media platforms that you can see how many people are like who is looking at your things more frequently because it'll show up as people you may know.
That's if you're not friends with them.
Right.
But TikTok shows everybody.
And does people know that? I don't know if people realize this, but every time you go on their page, like TikTok, what do you call it?
Your profile?
Yeah, your
Your page?
profile.
Yeah,
You get notified.
of course.
I don't know if people realize that when they go and
You do?
So depending on your settings, if your settings are set up to where you can see who viewed your profile,
Oh.
then they can see when you view theirs. But if
Yes.
you're private, you're just private all the way around. You don't know who viewed yours, and they can't see when you view theirs.
Yes. But I see all the time, like, hey, you got like 85 people that just viewed your profile today. And
Yeah.
and it's people, some of those people, I know that they don't want to have anything to do with me, but
They want to keep tabs on you.
they want to keep tabs.
Right. They view your profile. They're watching your videos or pictures or whatever it is, but they're not interacting. They're not liking it. They just want to check on you, want to
But
see what you're doing.
But that's the same kind of in the dark forces of evil. Like the devils, they don't want to help you. They don't want to help you grow. They don't want to help you overcome. They don't want to help you progress in life.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to love you, but they're watching you.
And I was going to say that if you're looking at the Just Jesus podcast TikTok page, keep doing it. We don't care if you like it or not. Just listen and learn something, and hopefully you enjoy it.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
And how many people listen and maybe even take something away from it? But for all the money in the world, they would never tell you that they're listening to your podcast.
And I think this would be a great time to insert. If you've not already reviewed this podcast, give us 5 stars in whatever social media platform you're listening on, your podcast platform. Just give us a review or rating.
Yeah.
It'd be
Even
awesome.
if you don't like us, say you like us.
No, give us a 5, not a 1.
Yeah.
Ones are better.
Yeah,
We want a 5.
that's what I said. Even if we're not friends, like
Yeah,
us.
give us a 5.
Give us a 5. Yeah. And it's difficult. Man. But if you could really see the big picture, if you could see past the trees and you could know that we all have struggles and we all come short, and if we could just really love people that don't want to have anything to do with you, you just know that you don't click. It's like 2 magnets trying to come together, and I don't know why those forces are that way. My dad told me many times in my life, son, never force your spirit on anybody. Never try to press your way into somebody's life. When you're meant to be in somebody's life, it just happens. The people that are supposed to be in your life will come to you, and you will be drawn to them. And God will do wondrous things. But, don't run out the other way. Don't run down the other aisle when you see anybody. There's probably a divine purpose that God has ordained that very moment in time for maybe something that you wasn't thinking, you didn't know you had an issue with, or maybe they didn't know they had an issue with, is suddenly going to be changed, and it's going to be better for you and them. Be like Jesus. Walk into the fire. Be like Jesus. Walk into a world that didn't even want him, that didn't receive him. But he walked in and he didn't get caught up under those hateful people and the people that wanted to take him out and even kill him. He walked over the world. He didn't get pulled down into the mud and the dirt. You can be like that too. Just stay prayed up. Do the right thing. And be blessed.